So it was, surviving on the way to what could possibly become thriving, but it was holding my head above water and going, you just keep knocking them down. You'll take some time off. You'll get some time off to let your memory catch up with you later.
So to begin with, it was a shock, and you developed some strategies for dealing with it. What about over the longer run? Now you've been well known for, it's got to be 25 years, eh?
So 32 or 33 years old, I wake up and it clicks for me one time that, you got to get the joke in Hollywood. And the joke is, it ain't personal. It's business.
Right.
And that's not a particular joke to Hollywood. Maybe it's a particular joke in life a lot, in business. But that made me go, okay. Don't take it so personally when that person I talked about earlier won't even call you back because your last couple of movies have failed, and you spent, you were on the list to be their children's godfather 5 years ago. Don't take that personally. Or don't take it personally when that person now, because you did get hit, is calling you and wants to go out and hang out again. Don't even bring up that, hey, you wouldn't even answer my, don't even tell them you understand the score about how they wouldn't call you then, but now they do now.
Well, that's a good technique to avoid resentment.
Yes.
And resentment is so toxic. It's so toxic.
Well, that's what getting the joke of not understanding that wasn't personal.
Yeah. I've done that with people who are looking for work, because it's difficult to find a new job, and you're going to get turned down a lot in all likelihood. You're going to send your resumes out to 50 places and get one positive reply. If you're, you can expect that. It might not be that bad, but it could be. It's not personal. Most of those jobs don't even exist. It has something to do with you, but not that much. There's a huge situational factor there, and you have to take that into account.
Yes. Well, it's similar to, we lose a loved one. For me, I lose my father. Well, after he dies, after he moves on from this life, I find out some facts where the message and the messenger were not simpatico. What he was teaching me and what he was actually doing, there was a gap between those things. And I was like, what?
Inevitably, right? Inevitably. You actually want that from your father. You want your father to teach you better than he is.
Yay.
Yay.
But the first feeling can be, and I've seen people get a lot of resentment.
Oh yeah,
from
betrayal. That. Yeah, and it's true. It is a betrayal. Yeah. But what, you want your father to put forward the worst version of himself and use that as what he teaches you?
See, this goes back to that nihilistic view. If it's all for nothing, then come on, let's make it all for everything. I'm with you on that. So my father moving on, it happened pretty quickly for me of going like, I get it. He's wanting me to be better than he is. He's wanting me to do better. I get it. Bravo. So, but I could tell maybe if that had happened 2 years earlier, I wouldn't have been in the emotional space. I might have been, because it was flabbergasting. It's like meeting a hero and they turn out to be an asshole. And you're like,
well, they're very likely to turn out badly in comparison to your idealization of them.
100%. But at the same time, you go talk to your favorite musician who you followed, who formed your version of patriotism and fairness in the world, and you go meet them, they turn out to be an asshole, and you go like, they don't even believe in what they wrote. You're like, what? But
well, if flawed people were incapable of creativity, we wouldn't have any creativity.
Right.
And so I think what you have to do when you're dealing with creative people is realize that, or people who are creative and accomplished even, is realize that the fact that they've managed that despite all their flaws is the thing that's truly remarkable, because they have as many flaws as the next person.
Yep.
So yes. Thank God this is why, when I see someone like Louis C.K., for example, pilloried terribly, I think, well, yeah, he did some things that were unseemly, certainly even by his own standards, obviously. So what do we make of that? Well, there's plenty of people who do unseemly things, but very few of them are as masterful a comedian as Louis C.K. So do we want to lose him because he's flawed?
Right.
It seems inappropriate, because we'd lose everybody that way. And then we just have loss. That's not helpful.
Yes. I mean, I think you're leaning into, a lot of what we call a cancel culture today.
Yeah.
Can that, in the name of rehabilitation, do we have to have a world in which we are able to grow and evolve if that's what we're trying to do? Now, I'm not for repeat offenders or tyrants, but if someone screws up and they sincerely want retribution, I think it's fair to give those people.
Well, it better be, because otherwise we're all doomed.
Right?
Well, absolutely. There's not a person among us who hasn't made repeated errors, and if contrition and repentance aren't sufficient, then we're all damned. Right. No doubt about that.